My entitled mother-in-law embarrasses me in front of my entire extended family, and when she starts screaming at me after I confront her about what she's done, my husband runs off and hides, leaving me to defend myself against his crazy mother, and I honestly could not be more upset. So I am shaken and disturbed right now. Last spring, I got seriously sick, and my hair became knotted and tangled beyond return. I had too much going on to properly disentangle it, and it got worse, to the point where it hurt just to pass a brush over it. I love my long hair to pieces, and was heartbroken that I had to cut it off, so I ended up putting it in a box and keeping it in my drawer. I know it sounds weird, but just bear with me. Yesterday, my sister-in-law, meaning my brother-in-law's wife, casually mentioned in conversation how she loved my hair from before, and how even though I was sick, I should have called a professional or someone from my family and not let it get to that point, as my husband apparently would look down on me or get disgusted. I was confused at what she was talking about, and I asked her what she meant. She was mortified that she let it slip, and she told me that she knows about the hair and that my mother-in-law sent pictures of it over their group chat, and I honestly could not believe it. I immediately called my husband aside and asked him whether that was true or not. He said yes, and said that I should have kept the hair for others to see and that I knew someone would eventually find it. But I told him it was within the privacy of her own bedroom, and how did his mom even find it in the first place? Because this would mean that she's been probably going through our stuff without us knowing. And he said to that she was probably just trying to help us tidy up a little bit. And when I heard that, I was furious. I was so mad that I told him, let's go straighten this out right now. So I called my mother-in-law over to us. I told her as calmly as I could manage that I found out about the pictures and that I would like her to explain herself. She went, "Oh, you want me to explain?" She then looked at my husband and said, "Oh, is this an interrogation? Is this how you let your wife treat me nowadays?" And once she said that, my husband just awkwardly said that this is between the two of you, and I explained to her that I wasn't trying to interrogate her, but that I simply wanted to know what happened. She then started yelling at me that what happened is that her son took home a gross dirty pile of meat and is unlucky enough to be stuck with it. My husband left at this point, and I was frightened in place by her sudden yelling as she went on a complete rage fit. Every time I would try to explain or defend myself, she would cut me off even more aggressively. I was shaking all over and in tears by the end of it, and in the end, I left and booked a hotel room. My husband didn't even call me, and I didn't call him either. Now I'm here in an unfamiliar town all alone, and I honestly don't know what to do. What on earth is going on in this story? I mean, this sounds like an absolute nightmare situation. You can tell that this mother-in-law was absolutely guilty of what she had done, because she not only immediately got defensive about the way she was acting, but she also tried to justify it, while also insulting this lady and saying that she's just a dirty sack of meat that her son unfortunately married. I mean, what on earth is her problem? Why on earth would she be digging through this lady's stuff? Like, that's so unbelievably inappropriate, and that is such a clear violation of someone else's boundaries. There is legitimately no good excuse, in my opinion, for someone else to basically be going through another person's underwear drawer, which is where I imagine this lady put her hair that she had to cut off. But that's not even the worst part about it. It's the fact that she took pictures of it and decided to share with the whole family. Like, clearly this crazy mother-in-law has it out for this lady in a way that is very serious and very inappropriate. There's just really no good excuse for doing that other than trying to humiliate and completely ruin this person's reputation. And what about this husband? I mean, talk about being absolutely spineless. He ran away the second his mother started screaming at his wife. I mean, come on, is this really how he's going to defend his wife later on in their marriage? So yeah, I don't blame you for getting a hotel at all. If I was in your shoes considering the circumstances, I probably would have done the same thing. So I think in the future, you know not to stay at these people's houses. They clearly do not have your best interest in mind, and it sounds like at the first sign of trouble, your husband is going to cut and run, and clearly think about himself before he even thinks about you. That's really unfair for your situation, and it's really disturbing that he would just go along with this. So hopefully some kind of boundaries can be set up, because this mother-in-law sounds like an absolute nightmare, and it really does suck that you're just gonna have to put up with her. My girlfriend received a text message while we were in bed last night, and it really confused me, and I don't know what to do. So my girlfriend and I have been living together for the past 3 months now. We are mostly studying about 10 hours a day together at her apartment, and we are currently living by ourselves. This is her grandparents' apartment as well, for better context. Since I met her, she likes talking about her past experiences with other guys, which I don't really care about, but it does get annoying because it can get a little repetitive. Now, I wouldn't mind if it was a sporadic situation, but this is really a constant thing that she brings up. Lately, she's been joking about this being an open relationship and saying things like she doesn't trust me completely because I don't talk much about my past in terms of partner and other intimate stuff, if you know what I mean. Which, by the way, I don't like talking about that stuff very much anyways, so I just don't bring it up. Last night, at around 11:30 p.m., she was scrolling down her Instagram feed, showing me this silly meme while we were laying in bed together. together. We were also just watching some TV show when suddenly she gets a notification on Instagram. We'll call this person by the name of Lucas. This is not the real name. She then proceeded to swipe it up really fast, and 5 seconds later, the same happened again. A few minutes passed, and she kept showing me memes, and she ended up closing Instagram and swiping down her notification bar as Lucas had sent her a message on her WhatsApp, and the message was asking if she had fallen asleep yet. After that, she locked her phone. When I saw this, it was honestly really weird, and it really freaked me out. I want to talk about it and ask her who this guy is, but I don't want to sound possessive or anything along those lines. Fast forward, and I eventually did ask her about it, and she told me it was her friend from our country. We live in another country at the moment, and she told me to check her phone, but I ended up declining. We kept talking about how I was feeling and stuff like that, but then I started putting some pieces together because she told me a different name than the one I saw on her screen. So I told her just that. The name that you're saying is not the same one that I saw last night, and that is when everything fell apart. She confessed to me that this was a guy which another friend had introduced her to, and that they were talking about networking stuff in the medical field. She said that she's not interested in him or anything like that, but they have only talked over text messaging. She says she's sorry, but I honestly don't know how to feel. It all just seems super sketchy, and I'm honestly not sure what to do. This really does seem super sketchy. The original poster actually went on to say that the friend who introduced her to Lucas in the first place is someone that she has spent some quality time with in the past. So this all just seems very messy and very complicated. The original poster also gave an update talking about how they're going to be ending this the next day, and that they're hoping it all goes well. And at least for the original poster's sake, I hope everything does work out in their favor, because from the sounds of it, it kind of seems like she was already in an open relationship, and she was openly talking about this, probably so she could condition you to being okay with this when she finally does drop the news that this is what she's been doing behind your back. So honestly, I don't blame you for deciding to get out of this relationship, because open relationships, in my opinion, is honestly just a really complicated excuse to cheat on each other, and you can find a relationship with someone who's going to treat you with respect and actually care about you as a partner. My wife is upset that I'm losing weight through medication and fasting, and I'm honestly not sure what to do. So I've been overweight for several years, and ever since COVID, I've become morbidly obese. In spite of my weight, I'm also very tall. I only mention this because I've had people tell me that you're fat, but it's okay because you're tall, which honestly doesn't make it any better. But now, I finally decided I'm gonna do something about it. I exercise regularly, but I haven't really lost much weight. In the last few months, I began seeing a doctor who prescribed an injection that might suppress my appetite and assist me in losing some weight. It had limited impact at first, but then I also began fasting so that I only eat in an 8-hour window every day. In the last month alone, I have lost 15 pounds, and I am no longer morbidly obese, even though I am still obese overall. My wife is now getting upset at me for doing this, and I don't know how to cope with this. For some better context, my wife is at a healthy weight and has told me that I'm very attractive, but I am tired of feeling like absolute garbage, so her opinion on my appearance has no bearing on how I feel about myself. So she now gets mad at me because I no longer eat breakfast, and I eat a lot less dinner when I come home from work. She claims that she is failing at being a wife because I am apparently eating less. She is a stay-at-home mom, and we are both the children of immigrants from the same poor country. She even decided for some reason to call my parents and tell them about the medicine that I am taking, which is a tricky thing for her to do because both of my parents are doctors, but they don't trust medicine like you would hope they would. I honestly don't know what to do about this. I feel like she has tried to sabotage what I feel like is significant progress. I am still exercising regularly, but she tells me I should lose weight only by exercising and that I should just ditch the medicine. I tried and it didn't work because I was still eating too much, but now that I'm eating less and I have less of an appetite, I really just don't understand why it's a problem that I have medicine assist me in losing weight. What should I do? This is a very strange way for your wife to be reacting to this. You would think that she would be on board with this and that she would be happy that you're trying to improve yourself in an area where you feel insecure and unhappy. So it's really confusing that she would be upset that you're trying to lose weight even if medicine is helping you. And from the sounds of it, it doesn't look like there's really any downsides to this. You're losing the weight you want to lose and you're trying to get healthier. Sometimes steps like this are necessary so you can get back on the right track. And if there are no negative side effects that would be like permanent damage to your body, then I really don't see what the problem is. Maybe if you explain this to her and tell her that just because you're not eating as much doesn't mean that you don't love her just as much as you did. You're just trying to get in better shape. And I mean, you said it best. You were morbidly obese and you don't want to feel like this for the rest of your life. So it's honestly really disappointing to see that she's not being more supportive of your healthy lifestyle changes. So hopefully if you continue to explain this to her, she can kind of come around and see where you're coming from. Because from the sounds of it, it doesn't seem like you're doing anything that serious to your body besides using medication to help you lose some weight. I don't know, maybe I'm missing something here. Leave a comment down below if I am am. But either way, hopefully this conversation and discussion with your wife goes well, because you're trying to improve your life, and hopefully she can come around and be more supportive of your healthy lifestyle changes. My girlfriend lied and said that I injured her in our relationship, but when she was confronted, she doubled back and made every excuse in the book to try and cover her tracks. Now I don't know what the truth is, and I honestly don't know what to do. A few weeks back, my girlfriend and I attended a family party at her family's house with her siblings and siblings' friends, which involved some alcohol. Neither of us are drinkers, but given the event, we went into it expecting to get a little bit drunk. There was a group chat made beforehand discussing the plans of the party, with everyone invited. The night started off like any other normal party, but before we knew it, everyone was visibly drunk. During the party, I noticed one of my girlfriend's brother's friends, I'll call him Z, was with my girlfriend being a little bit touchy. Although it wasn't anything serious, she is not the type of person to be touchy with any males. When I noticed them, Z looked at me and then told my girlfriend that they are making me jealous, and then just walked away. And I was very weirded out by the situation, and when I tried to make small talk with Z later on, he simply refused to do so. To give some context, I met Z 2 or 3 times prior, and apparently Z views my girlfriend like a sister, and because of that, he is very protective of her, and does not like me dating her. I've noticed she's been touchy with him the last time we met, and expressed to her that because she has jokingly told me in the past that Z may have a crush on her, I don't really feel comfortable with that. She said she understood and to not worry. Later on in the night, me and a few of my friends noticed that my girlfriend had disappeared for approximately 20 minutes. When I eventually found my girlfriend, she told me that she had to go to the washroom, in which I had to as well. So she asked me if we could just go together. While in the washroom, I noticed that there was bills in her underwear. I asked her how money could have possibly ended up there, and she immediately responded by saying that her younger brother put it there, which did not make any sense. Her younger brother simply would not do that, and I honestly just became worried and upset and decided to leave the washroom and go upstairs. After I left, she started crying and started telling people that I accused her of cheating. I presume it was because what happened earlier with Z, as I never brought up cheating or Z to her when asking about the money in her underwear. Her younger brother came to me shortly afterwards and asked what happened. I explained the money situation, and he confirmed that it wasn't true and was not sure why she accused him of doing that. He asked me to go deal with my girlfriend. However, I explained that I was very confused and upset and that I needed time alone. Afterwards, Z came up to me and spoke to me privately, and he told me that it should be fine to be jealous. I explained that it had nothing to do with him and also told him about what my girlfriend said about her brother, but he just tried to play it off like it was nothing. After Z left, her older and younger brother, as well as some family members, about 5 or 6 people in total, came upstairs and started shouting at me. I don't necessarily remember everything that each person said, as multiple people were shouting at once, and it was very incoherent. However, it was along the lines of saying that I'm a terrible boyfriend and that I must speak to her right now. Z then reappeared, and with the support of the older and younger brother, allowed Z to physically drag me out of the house from the 2nd floor. At this point, I was very upset and I was scared. The situation escalated very fast because it became physical. I said I'm willing to speak to my girlfriend in order to avoid any additional physical altercations. I was then told that apparently my girlfriend does not want to speak to me anymore. While I was waiting for a ride home, another family friend came up to me and told me that she did not mean to say that her brother put money in her underwear, and that she meant to tell me that her brother gave it to her and she placed it there herself. I later discovered that it was because her pants had no pockets, which I guess explained how it ended up there to begin with. I decided that I needed some more time away from her, and I spoke to a few friends about it the following day. They all agreed that it should have never become physical, but a few friends told me that I should speak to her again to clear the air. I eventually sent a message to my girlfriend and explained how I felt, and that I'm sorry for storming off, and that I was told after the fact about how her brother gave it to her, as well as the no pocket situation. However, I also explained that I was extremely bothered by the fact that it became physical, and that I did not feel safe or welcome near her brothers for allowing their friend to become physical with me. I went into the conversation expecting that we were going to break up, but then it became a multi-hour conversation. I was told that she was unaware that it became physical, and that she never said she didn't want to speak to me, and that she never knew that I said I was willing to speak to her after I was removed from the house. Eventually, we ended up resolving the situation, and I thought it was over from there, but the next morning, I woke up to the group chat exploding. Apparently, her older brother was very upset that we resolved the situation very fast, and that he does not understand how his sister, my girlfriend, could be with someone who is so terrible. As I scrolled through the chat, I learned that the reason why I was being labeled terrible was because during that night, people were saying that I abused my girlfriend. I asked her what's going on and why people are accusing me of this, but she said she had no clue. So, she started speaking in the group chat and told people that this never happened. But then, multiple people, including her brother, said that she was the one that said those terrible things. Her brother then said to her that while she was crying, she told him that I was a terrible boyfriend, how I had apparently injured her multiple times, and that I deserved to get beaten up. Hearing this absolutely broke me. I asked her why she said those things, and she jumped between saying that her brother is lying, as well as her just being drunk and not remembering, while also claiming that one of the girls said it and that she didn't. She then went back into the group chat and then reaffirmed that it wasn't true, in which both of her brothers called her a liar. I was confused and unsure who to believe at this point. I asked if she has ever felt that I've ever hurt her in our relationship, and I asked her to please be truthful with me. She was very firm on the fact that I've never done anything to hurt her, and that she has no idea where the accusations have come from. She spent the remainder of the day explaining to everyone that this situation never happened, and that none of the accusations were true. She has since told me that she's very sorry about the whole situation multiple times, but she also expects me to just move on like it was nothing. It's been a few weeks since this happened, and I'm really trying my best to move on. My biggest concern is whether or not she is lying about being the one who started the accusations. About a week ago, she ended up telling me that she was lying about another thing, and this is something she's been telling me since we started dating. It was somewhat of a white lie and had no significant impact on the relationship, but it just further damages my trust in her, as it was a situation where she had no need to lie about it, and that her lying about it just damages her credibility. I'm unsure if I'm being reasonable with having issues of trusting her, and I'm unsure if this is something I should be expected to just move on from, or if I should be concerned. What should I do? The fact that your girlfriend is lying about you injuring her in your relationship, if you know what I mean, is absolutely insane to me, and not something I would take lightly. If she wants to make some kind of white lie that doesn't have any kind of real significant impact on your relationship, then that's fine in my opinion. It's not ideal and it does suck, but you know what? No harm, no foul. But what she did is absolutely unacceptable. This is something that can absolutely ruin your reputation in the community, and it's the kind of lie that can quite literally ruin someone's life. So if I was in your shoes, I would absolutely be taking this seriously. This is a lie that could ruin your career and could take you out of any community you ever try to get into. Like, this is absolutely not okay, and this is a massive red flag. Also, if you really want to have a relationship with her, you need to remove Z from this situation. That guy's an absolute scumbag. For some context, these people in this story are in their 20s, but it seems like every single person involved, including the siblings as well as all the friends and Z, all have this high school mentality where they can just push each other around and make up these weird false accusations. And that is just not how the real world works anymore. Like, the police very easily could have been involved for the fact that these people put their hands on this guy and pushed him out of this house. There's a lot of things that could have gone wrong, but in my opinion, the fact that your girlfriend is lying about you injuring her in your relationship with her, with the unspoken implications of this being unbelievably serious, in my opinion, is unacceptable. And that is worth relooking at this relationship, in my opinion. Because if she can easily lie about this about you, then who knows what she could lie about or has already lied about that you just don't know about. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications. To finish listening to all the stories, use the playlist at the top of the description. And the next time you live stream, use the Cream of the Crop music. Search Cream of the Stream on Spotify or whatever platform you use for copyright-free music to use for your next stream.